Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. December 8th this year will mark 12 years since I started writing professional AIs for various computer games. My very first one was Othello. What had happened was, this is 2011. My grandfather had just passed away. My grandfather on my dad's side had just passed away. He was 87 years old. And so I was trying to take my mind off of that. I was working on my PhD. I was only a few months away from graduating. I had a big problem, though. At this point, I hadn't gone on a date. I should say I hadn't gone on a date with somebody else for 18 months at this point. And I was getting worried about graduating because I had attended a few of my classmates' graduations, and they all had a date. Some of them were married, actually. Most of them had a somewhat committed relationship, and I just felt left out of that. Let's put it that way. But I also remembered the last time I went on a date with somebody else, how it turned out, right? And so I got lost and confused. Now, in being lost and confused, I decided to take my mind off of that. And I thought about a game I had written for a class one time. It was not very advanced, but I had taken a course on AI and learned about alpha-beta pruning search. And so I decided to dig that game out and improve it a little bit, just out of the confusion of the events. And also, in the confusion, I thought if I had the number one AI for a game like Othello, that I could meet somebody, either at an event or just on campus or something like that. So I started the game on December 8th. Not long after, my family and I traveled to Taiwan to attend my grandfather's funeral. The funeral was actually on Christmas Day, 2011. I almost missed the funeral, actually. I was at my uncle's home, and I couldn't get going. I was writing a game or something like that. And my brother said, let's go. And I asked for 5 more minutes. Got to finish something. In Chinese, 5 is pronounced ooh. It's really fun to say when you're trying to procrastinate. Somebody's telling you to do something. Ooh! And so my brother was so upset. He and I fought over the concept of saying ooh all the time. He was 12 years old at the time. And I kept saying ooh. And it really upset him. And he said, come on, the rest of the family's going to be there. And I tell him, just go without me. I got to finish this game. And he said, are you kidding me? Our whole family is going. And I said, fuck our family. I used to be a potty mouth about stuff like that when I got angry. Fuck our family. And my brother said, fuck you! And he never says cuss words like that, and he actually said it that time. And long story short, I had to be dragged to that funeral, and I didn't even want to go. During the funeral, there were a lot of prayers being said, and one of the prayers had something that sounded like, it's in Chinese, it sounded like he said something that had 5 minutes, that had the words 5 minutes in it. In Chinese, it's pronounced 5分钟. And I told my brother, look, he said 5 minutes. He said 5 minutes. I just couldn't pay attention to the funeral. All I wanted to think about was to go home to write my computer games. So it's been 12 years now. Some notable games that I wrote. My first time winning the Computer Olympiad was in 2016. I had won number 1 in the game of Surakarta. I used to be a big fan of that game. Not so much anymore. It's too simple for me nowadays. In 2017, I went to visit Mary Curry's statue for her shortly before her 150th birthday. And when I put my hand on her statue, I instantly got an interesting idea for the game of Ultimate Tic-Tac-Toe. I came home and wrote an AI for that, and I named the game the Mary Curry 150th birthday. I dedicated it to her 150th birthday. In 2020, when we all had to stay home, I started writing an AI for the game, where I started writing a very professional level AI for the game of backgammon, and I nicknamed it Corona Gammon. And I did so well on that Corona Gammon game and kept coming up with new ideas that I keep adding new versions of it that I name after Delta, Omicron, and now Iris, right? And I had one version that I named Get Well Trump because Trump was sick at the time, October 2020. And so quite a few different versions of that. Right now, as I speak, I'm working on the game of Gizmos, which I'm going to nickname E-Radium because it's going to be the 125th anniversary of Mary Curie discovering radium. And next year, right now as I speak, I'm running a machine learning simulation for the game of in 2014. We had an AI. We had a new game introduced, a puzzle called 2048, and this AI is simulating it. It's averaging a score of 400 something thousand, but it's getting better as time goes on. Next year will be the 10-year anniversary of when that game was invented, and I hope to release the AI just in time for that. I'm a little bit saddened that I haven't gotten anybody interested in what I've been doing, because someday when I die, all my games are going to die with me, it seems like. That's why I make it a mission to keep my body as healthy as possible. When I was sick with long COVID and couldn't focus on my games, it really scared the crap out of me. And that was it. I was never going to be able to get back to my games again. Fortunately, I've made more or less a complete recovery now. I'm very optimistic that Gizmos will be my breakthrough game. I'll finally get a lot of attention for it, get in the limelight, and spread the word about my computer games. I don't know why. I really suspect Gizmos is going to be the one game that propels me from just writing games in my basement to the world stage. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.